Your love has taken over me. Father, I depend on you. I have confidence in you. In you, oh Lord, I put my trust. Your love has taken over me. Father, I
want somebody here wear your dancing shoes. If you have your handkerchief, Joshua generation handkerchief, I want you to bring it out. If you have a friend here close to you who cannot worship, who cannot dance, just say to the person, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Get ready. It is with joy I make welcome to bring to the microphone our brother, our friend, Minister Frank Edward.
just wave those hands to Jesus wherever you are. Give him praise. Just because you live, I'm still breathing because you breathe through me. My security, in you I live and move. You protect me every night and day. I love you. You are the reason creation bow. Whoa. Lift up your voice. You alone. You alone. We worship you, and we bless your name. Alpha and Omega, Alpha and Omega, give you praise. You're Jehovah that will never change. Unchanging one who changes everything. Abba Father, to you be all the glory. Thank you for the fight you fought for me. I love you dearly, and you are the creation now. Whoa. Lift up your voice. You alone. You alone. We worship. And we bless your name. Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega. Lift your voice. I give you praise. Lift up your voice in the air. Oh God, in the air. Whoa, whoa. and we bless Alpha and Omega. Hey, lift your voice, sing it loud in the air. Oh God, in the air. Oh, you alone. We worship and we bless Alpha and Omega. Hey, one more time. Sing it loud in the air. Somebody lift your voice. You alone. We worship and we bless. Lord, you reign forever. You're the same. I got my truth in my mind. Everybody say, you lifted me and gave me a song. I got my truth in my mouth. Everybody say, oh, Korabian, yeah. Chionyam Chiamano, oh. Nare Kele, lift your voice. Sansagi Buchimo. Onye dinsa, unsa. I got my truth in mama. Everybody say, Onye chike, ikanile. I got my truth in mama. Everybody say, Okora biademba, Chionyam Chiamano, oh. Lift your voice. Sansangi Muchimo. Everybody say, Mama, 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 Mama. Everybody say, Mama, 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 Mama. Lion of the tribe of Judah, Mama, I am that I am. Mama, oh yeah, there is none like you. There is none like you. Everybody say, Mama, oh Korabian, Mama, Chionyam Chiamano. Oh, Mama, Nare Kele, lift your voice. Sansangi Buchibo. Everybody say, Mama, 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 Mama. Everybody say, Mama, 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 Mama. Mama, Mama, the land of the tribe of Judah. Mama, I am that I am. Mama, oh yeah, there is none like you. There is none like you. Everybody say, Mama, oh Korabian. Hey, Mama, Chionyam Chiamano, oh, Mama, lift your voice. Nare Kele, a joyful noise. Somebody do like this. Tell your neighbor, say, I am covered under the canopy of God. Tell your neighbor, say, I am covered. Are you covered? Then make a joyful noise. Make a joyful noise. Wave, 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 wave. Tell your neighbor to give you some space. Everybody wave, 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 wave. Are you ready? Make a joyful noise. Jump, 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 jump. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go. Your love has taken over me. Father, I depend on you. I have confidence in you. In you, oh Lord, I put my trust. Your love has taken over me. Father, I depend on you. I have confidence in you. In you, oh Lord, I put my trust. Yes, you cover me. Under the canopy, give me security. I am the righteousness of God. Oh, yes, you cover me. Under the canopy, give me security. I am the righteousness of God. Make a joyful noise. Jump, 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 jump. Put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. This is my season of increase. I am lost in your mercies endure forever. Jehovah, Adonai. You know the baby, you know the baby. Why you do the best? Well, let me be the same. Oh, you know the baby. Why you do the best? Well, let me be the same. Your love has taken over me. Oh yes, Father, I depend on you. Come on, I have confidence in you, oh Lord. I put my trust. Your love has taken over me. Make it up for noise. Confidence in you, oh Lord. I put my trust. Oh yes, you cover me. Under the canopy, give me security. I am the righteousness of God. Oh yes, you cover me. Under the canopy, give me security. I am the righteousness of God. All things are working together. 'Cause you love me. When I lay my hands on the sick, devil they run. 'Cause you know the baby, you know the baby. Why you do the best? Well, let me be the same. Oh, you know the baby. Why you do the best? Well, let me be the same. Your love has taken over me. Oh yes, Father, I depend on you. I have confidence in you. Yes, I do. You, oh Lord, I put my trust. Your love has taken over me. Make it up for noise. I have confidence in you, oh Lord. I put my trust. Oh yes, you cover me. Under the canopy, give me security. I am the righteousness of God. Oh yes, you cover me. Under the canopy, give me security. I am the righteousness of God. Make a joyful noise. Jump, 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 jump. Everybody put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. One. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. Nothing can separate me from your love. Oh God, no be lie, that only you will change my life. Ooh, yeah, your love is unshakable, that's uncountable. Everything that you do, Lord, I cannot tell it all. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yo, 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 oh, kaka. Ineberebo, oh, the ma. Yo, 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 oh, kaka. Ineberebo, oh, the ma. Yo, 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 yo. Hey! Ineberebo, oh, the ma. Yo, 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 yo. Ineberebo, oh, the ma. Yo, 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 yo. God and God alone, let your name be glorified, yeah. King of kings, Lord of lords, you are. The Lion of the Lamb, you are. Let your name be glorified. Look at the lily of the valley. Let your name be glorified. I'm gonna dance for you. Oh, I'm in okay, yeah. Your love is unshakable. Blessings are uncountable. Everything that you do, Lord, I cannot tell it all. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yo, 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 yo. Oh, kaka. Ineberebo, oh, the ma. Yo, 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 yo. Oh, kaka. Ineberebo, oh, the ma. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo. Everybody say, yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo. Everybody say, yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Oh, kaka. Ineberebo. Yo, 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 yo. Ineberebo.
Why not give the Lord a shout? Finally, tell your neighbor, focus. Oh, I want to feel it now. Say it with swag. Say focus. Oh, Joshua generation.
Good evening, everyone. I have just 10 minutes, so I'll be very, very fast. My name is Nike Randu, and I have here with me Rita Shoretire, my colleague. We are from Stanbic IBTC. First and foremost, I want to say a big thank you to Your Grace, the Primate of all Nigeria, and to Mama Nigeria, and to bishops and other leadership of the church for giving us this opportunity to present. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma. I'll just quickly go straight to the presentation. I'm not projecting because my time is very short. Okay, so I'll first of all ask a question which I wish I could ask directly. That, do you have a goal? Think of that. Do you have a goal? And what do I mean by a goal? What you intend to achieve. It may be in a short term, it may be a medium term, it may be a long term. What do you want to achieve? So when you get home, I want you to quickly do something for me at home. Immediately you get home, just take a pen and a paper and write down your goals. And so my topic today is how to manage your finances. Okay, so how do I manage my finances? I know that some of us are already working. We have stream of income coming into our accounts on a monthly basis periodically. Or maybe we have businesses that we are doing. How do we manage this money? And that is why I asked that question. Do you have a goal? Meaning that, what do you do with your money? Do you wish to achieve or to be able to meet your goal with your money when you collect your salary or when you collect that money you get from your businesses? And I also want to ask this question, which I want you to write down when you get home as well. What are your wants and what are your needs? A lot of us, we most times, try to get what we want and not what we need. I'll just quickly give you an example. I want to buy an iPhone, okay? It's just a want. Yes, I actually want it myself. I want to buy the latest. It's a want. But is that iPhone bringing value to my life? Or I want a need? Yes, I need that iPhone because the iPhone will bring value to my life. So I want to, first of all, when you get home as well, after writing your goals, what are my wants and what are my needs? If your wants are more than your needs, then there's a problem. Then another thing I also want you to do when you get home is that, how much do I realize on a monthly basis or periodically, may even be weekly? What is my income? And for some of us that don't have work now, yes, it's also very beneficial to us to do this. What is my income? And so what am I spending money on? That is my want or my need. And at the end of the day, what do I have left? Am I in deficit at the end of the day? So let me quickly give an example. I'm earning 1,000 naira every month. And my want is maybe like 700 naira. My need is maybe 400 naira after putting feeding and everything. So that means I'm spending 1,100 naira every month. So that means at the end of the month, I'm borrowing. That is not good enough as well. But if at the end of the month, I've spent just 700 naira, I've covered all my expenses, I've taken off some things that I don't really, that is not necessary for me. That is my want. Okay, so I have 300 naira left. What do you do with that 300 naira? That is now my next question. So I will advise and encourage that 300 naira must go to investment. Okay, the investments are in different ways. You can invest in mutual funds. Unfortunately, I don't have time to explain that further. You can invest in a business. You can invest in shares. You can invest in, you can do online investment. There's so many ways that you can do investment now. Before we go, I'll quickly give phone numbers, okay, for Rita and I, so that because we don't have that opportunity to talk much, you'll be able to call us for further discussions. And for most of the mutual funds that we have, it's just 5,000 naira to start with. Meaning that from whatever you are earning on a monthly basis, you can put 5,000 naira aside. I don't think that is too much, because if you look at it on a monthly basis, sometimes we spend 10,000 naira on credit. At the end of the day, check it. Does it really have value? You have to put some funds aside, maybe like that 5,000 naira that I said, which is the minimum for the mutual funds, and invest it. And if you invest it over time, let's assume you've been putting 5,000 naira on a monthly basis. At the end of the year, what will that amount to? 5 times 12, that is 60,000 naira. The 60,000 naira can do a very short-term goal for you. It may be one small thing you want to buy, and you are good to go for it without going to borrow from your friends. And at the same time, you may decide to keep it for a very long time, maybe like 5 years, 6, 7 years. And at the end of the day, it has yielded something for you. And remember that it is not that exact money you are taking. You are taking it plus interest that would have accrued on that investment. So for example, you are investing 5,000 naira. Maybe it's a certain amount. Let me just say like 500 naira is coming on top of it on a monthly basis. So next month now you have 5,500 naira. Times 12, that is what it means from your 5,000 naira on a monthly basis. From the monthly basis. And it is compounding as well, which we will explain which we would like to explain to you when you give us a call. I'll just quickly give you our phone numbers. My own phone number, if you want it, is 080 33 15 58 16. Rita's phone number is
0803 603 8322. 0803 603 8322. Thank you.
So if you have questions, you can call us. We are always available to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Kuba and Mama Nigeria, Mrs. Angela Ndukuba, the Dean of the Church of Nigeria, our Archbishops and Bishops, our keynote speakers, our honorable and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. You're all welcome. Today, we're going to have a panel discussion talking about, and right here, my name is OLUWADAMILOLA, and here with me is...
My name is NONSO Ezaku. You generation, praise the Lord!
Will you go ahead and tell us what we're going to be discussing today?
Sure. It's going to be a wonderful time. By the way, I think Frank Edward has already set the tone.
I can see every youth here blazing one place or the other. And don't waste your fire. I want you to ablaze for Christ. Praise the Lord. So we're going to be having 4 interesting, wonderful panelists right here. And I will just go further with I'm calling them out one by one. Yeah. So first and foremost, we'll be having Mrs. Priscilla Eleje, an alumna of Herbert H. Humphrey Fellowship Program in Banking and Management at Boston University, Massachusetts, USA. She actually has her bachelor's degree from University of Jos, Plateau State. So, I mean, she climbed heights. And then also, she's a member of the Nigerian Psychological Association, and she's a Certified Information System Auditor, CISA. She retired from the Central Bank of Nigeria after 35 years of service in 2019. And most notably of all, as I always want to mention, she is the first and currently the only female director of currency operations in Nigeria. If you look at your 1,000 naira notes and beyond, it's her signature there, and I think it's a wonderful thing for, I mean, put your hands together for her even as she eventually comes off the stage.
We also have here with us Mazi Sam Ohabunwa, and he's going to be joining us on the stage, sir. Thank you. You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome, Mazi.
We also have Professor Pat Utomi.
And last but not the least, we have our own very brother, Joshua Gana. Please put your hands together for him also. I hope you're not tensed. We're sitting amongst very, very big people right now.
Today's panel discussion topic is the marketplace Christian, influencing the sphere of business and economy for God. Isn't it amazing that we're discussing this topic at this wonderful time in the history of Nigeria, where we have different kinds of things happening? We have the COVID-19, we have banditry, we have issues with fuel, oil prices are going up, electricity problems. So this is a very, very important topic we're discussing. And we have no other than the very foremost, freshest experts in our midst to help us dissect these issues. I hope that as you listen and they share their thoughts, you will be able to learn a thing or two. And also you'll be motivated to take action as a youth that is ablazing for Christ. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. Just word out. You people will know these people are quite prominent people in Nigeria, and I want you to actually focus and to see very practicable, very actionable steps, if I say. Maybe these are English words I just introduced right now. But we need you all to focus, and then these are things that will eventually make us look back to a moment where we heard some address or some talk from these people, and maybe that shaped our lives into affecting the economy right here in Nigeria and even globally.
You're not left out of the conversation. You will have opportunities to share your questions and throw them to our panelists here, and they would graciously answer your questions. So prepare yourself and prepare your questions, and make sure that you're willing and teachable to listen to what they have to say.
They must be teachable. So let's just get right into it. I will start with you, Ms. Eleje. You can add to all of what I've said. You can just add a little bit. Let's hear from you personally. Who are you? Who are these youths seeing right now? And what don't we know about you? Yeah.
Thank you very much. And thanks for inviting me here. I'm Priscilla Eleje. I'm a child of the Most High God.
Yeah.
I've served my country. I've done my bit. And I truly hope that the youths here today can take a thing or two out of my experience, and that it should make them better, make them more hopeful, make them pursue their vision. So that's Priscilla Eleje. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So we'll just switch alternatively. Maybe we'll start with Joshua. Mr. Joshua Gana, let's start with you. Oh, you caught my eyes first, so I'm sorry.
Thank you. My name is Joshua Audu Gana. I'm currently the General Manager of Sterling Trust Company. We're licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to offer logistical services to the banking sector. In my development, As a businessman, over the last 20 years of management practice, I've been licensed with licenses to build power plants, independent power plants in Nigeria. I was privileged in privatization to take over Sunti Sugar Company. And today, by the grace of God, the Flour Mills of Nigeria, PLC, has invested in that company. Over 50 billion has been invested in the Sugar Development Program, which is the backward integration program to revive sugar production in Nigeria. Thank you.
Which is fantastic. It's amazing indeed. So we don't get to import sugar and start complaining about the economy and the government and all of that. I think that's quite remarkable. Thank you very much.
So now we would want our daddy, Professor Utomi, to introduce himself.
Wow, thank you so very much. Am I pleased to be here? What a wonderful Joshua generation. You know, I'm kind of difficult to introduce. But basically I'm a teacher. But I'm a teacher who manages to use different kinds of platforms to teach. Besides teaching as an academic, I teach as an entrepreneur. And I have had the good fortune of helping create quite a number of enterprises from the tech space to agriculture and all of that. I'm an educator. I've been involved in founding schools from primary to secondary to university, and I've served on the councils of many universities. And I'm excited that I do things like that. I'm a journalist. I've created and hosted for 22 years now. I've hosted a television series called Patito's Gang. Okay, I've got to stop at some point because it creates confusion.
Very humble of him. You're still going to get some more from Pastor Utomi. And then, last but not the least on the introduction, is our Mazi, strictly Mazi Sam Ohabunwa. Please tell us what we don't know.
Thank you very much. Good evening, my lords. Good evening, my brothers and sisters. My name is Mazi Sam Ohabunwa, pharmacist by training, entrepreneur, businessman by choice, patriot, nationalist, social worker, lay minister, industrialist, and now a politician. Thank you.
Politician, are we rooting for our next president? Is he sitting right beside me? I'll be so glad. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So, Dami, would you just take us on this course?
Well, I have a few questions for our panelists, if they do not mind. I think I'm going to start with Mazi.
All right, then.
I had watched a few interviews that you had granted concerning your aspiration to presidency. You made a statement that was quite, should I say, fascinating for me? And that was, you had walked in the sidelines, and now it is time for you to show them how it is done. Can you elaborate slightly, relating to our Nigerian economy, how that would affect, how your, should I say, aspirations to the presidency is going to affect your policies? Because you also mentioned that, creating investments especially is a key tool or a key machinery that you're going to use to create jobs, employment, and to just, of course, grow the economy. So I want you to expatiate on that.
Well, thank you very much. I have lived my life essentially directed at one purpose. How do I elevate my environment? How do I create greater happiness wherever I am? How do I make a place better than I met it? As a young person, I met a good Nigeria. I left school from the university. I went to university on scholarship. I finished in June. July, I was working. 3 months after that, I got a car loan. I bought a car. I went to my youth service driving a car. Resumed in Pfizer as a sales rep driving a car. 3 months, Pfizer gave me a car, which was my official car. As a young 3-year-old pharmacist, I had 2 cars in my garage. I have never known unemployment. And unfortunately, I have become poor. Not because I don't work hard enough, but if you live in a nation where 71% of people are poor, the rest of us have no choice but become poor. And why are we poor? In the midst of the opportunities we have to create wealth. Wealth is what drives away poverty. And I have wondered and cried and begged and cajoled through all the opportunities I've heard in advocacy with guys like Pat. I mean, shouting ourselves hoarse, writing. He is a journalist. I also became one by force. I used to write 3 columns for 7 years in 3 newspapers. I have written books, even though I'm not a teacher, I'm a professor, all speaking about how do we make Nigeria work, especially for the young people. I have always wanted to leave my environment better than I met it. And I'm pained that if I were to die today, this country is worse than I met it. And it's a personal pain. So our focus is how do we mobilize ourselves and mobilize the nation to turn our country into an investment heaven, where investments will flow from locals, investment will flow in from foreigners, and with these investments, we create jobs. We create opportunities for, turning away people who should be busy but now are idle. Because as I say, investments create businesses. Businesses create jobs. Jobs create wealth. Wealth drives away poverty. It's a straight line thing. So the centrality of all we're saying, and which we've tried to say in all the summits as chairman of Nigeria Economic Summit, in Nigeria American Chamber of Commerce, in Nigeria Employers Consultant Association, in MAN, is let's make this environment investment friendly. That's the summation. And the men will get it, people will get jobs.
Okay, sir. I wanted to actually specifically ask about the youth's involvement. Because we find that many times when we talk about, the youth need to participate, we find that there would be suddenly some, should I say, roadblocks into how the youths can get involved. And, when people talk about how the youths are unemployed, they also talk about the youths not having enough skills to occupy those available positions. So how can we bridge that gap? Because we need the youths to participate, but the youths also need to be equipped to participate. So how are you addressing that?
Well, first, there are 2 sides to it. First is the input side, and that's what you speak about, creating skills. I think that we need to change the orientation of our education. People go to university or higher institutions, and all they do is cram. Teachers teach them, and they take notes, and then at the end they are examining on the notes they have taken and what have you. We need to change that. We should make our education do 2 things. First, teach us how to solve problems, and then teach us how to create wealth from school, so that by the time you're leaving school, you're already a wealth creator. I've advertised that if we have opportunity in 2023 thereafter, in your final year, every student will come out with 1 or 2 business plans. Those business plans will set you up on your path to being economically empowered. And government will be a partner. The unfortunate situation we have today is that government becomes an opponent to business. We are looking for where government will be a partner, a facilitator. If government sees you doing anything that is productive, government comes to you without invitation and says, how do we help you? Young man, what do you need to grow your talents, to grow your business? And by offering you advice, offering you leadership, suggestions, or even investing in your business. Because government has the resources to invest and support people to grow, because every investment government makes, government gets the benefit. Because if I invest in your business as government, you create jobs. Who takes the credit that jobs are created? Government. You pay tax. Who takes the tax? Government. You take away from the social environment all the unhappiness, and each person that's employed is taking care of so many. So my point is that first we'll start with educational reorientation so that people come out not looking for jobs. If you read history, you read Igbo, you read Islamic religion, you will learn how to create wealth with that business. There is always an opportunity to be solved. So, but if we don't go with that mentality of problem solving, we'll come out and become part of the problem. So the youth will become part of the solution ab initio.
Thank you very much. So we'd like to bring this topic home because these are prominent people in what the world may deem as the secular part of it. But just to note, these people are not just prominent Nigerian figures. They are God-loving Christians too as well. So I'm trying to bring this home right here. Lady Eleje, happily married to one husband, like the Bible says, and 2 children. Well, it's God's blessings as well. It's important to note that nobody here is married to the same sex because we don't do that at all. So, but I'm bringing this home because I mentioned that you worked for 35 years in the Central Bank of Nigeria and you were still a wife to your husband and a mother to your children. And you are the first and currently only female director of financial operations. Some women out there, and let me not say some, I believe most women out there are actually seeing you as a role model figure. If you dodge it, there's no way. They will always see you that way at all. And if I may just note, the National Council for Women's Societies, the president, Mrs. Gloria Shoda, she did applaud your appointment and the span of which you worked in. And she said you're like a beacon to all these people. So in a sense, you're retired, happily retired, but people are still looking at you. How did you get there? And we're not here to soothe over words. What is the reality for women in banking? Or what is the reality for career women, young women who are sitting here, young women who are viewing this across Nigeria and wherever they may be? What is the actuality for them? How do they get here? Do you want them to buy their time? Do you want them to actually showcase themselves? What do you have for them? You've been there already, so been there, done that. So tell them.
Thank you so much. On the day I was being pulled out, we have what we call pull out, just like the military. And it just dawned on me that 35 years had gone by so quickly from when young Priscilla joined the bank. I'll be honest with you, when I joined the bank, I didn't really know what the future held. That's the truth. I just joined the bank like every other young child girl, young graduate who needed a job. But I will tell you that those years, I learned some things which I will share with us here, especially the women. One, I heard the lady talking saying, set your goals. No matter how, set your goals. They may not be very solid goals, but you should have a vision of where you want to be. It's important. Of course, initially, as a young person, your vision is limited. It's not, you just want to be promoted to the next grade and the next grade. But it's good to have that vision, and it's good to be focused. It's good to be focused. Along the line, some things will distract you. But somebody said something sometime at a Wimby's program. She said, focus on your focus. Focus on your focus. Otherwise, you'll be distracted and you will just derail. So that's another thing. Regardless of the challenges, they will come. I can tell you that I met my challenges. I stayed years on the grade without promotion. But those challenges will come, but be positive. It's very important to maintain a positive attitude, especially in your times of difficulty. Otherwise, you cannot remain or maintain your focus. So it's important to have a good disposition. I'll give you a typical example. At a point when I wasn't getting my promotion, it wasn't because I wasn't working hard, but somehow our appraisal system had its own peculiarities. It was so bad then that each time after the promotion, when people see me, they be dodging. It's like, this woman, how can we face her? What do we tell her? But you know what? By the mercy of God, I've always been a positive person. I've always been a positive person. Maybe because I've also had challenges in my past that made me know that it's good to be positive. Okay? So when they come to me, they're dodging, I say, come. Is it the promotion? Don't worry. It will come. It will come in its own time. It will come. Then they will now calm down. And say, God has blessed me in so many ways. He remembered me when I didn't have children, and He did it for me, so I'm sure He will do it. But so while keeping positive, keep working hard. Don't become frustrated. Don't become, irritable and start quarreling with your... No. Because the Lord sees the hard work. The day comes, He will reward you. So remain positive, remain focused, and again, continue to learn. Continue to what? To learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. Don't sit down. That time when I was waiting for promotions was when I actually improved myself in so many areas. Okay? And when the time comes, or when the time came, it was all to my own advantage. Another thing again I would tell people, especially young women, do not be afraid of accepting challenges. Don't run away from those jobs that people feel are not interesting, They even see it as punishment. I will tell you, I was posted to some areas that people didn't want to go to, but later on, when it became important, I had acquired knowledge from all those areas. I had equipped myself, I had empowered myself. So it gave you confidence, and it put you a little higher than others. So don't be afraid to say, it's my baby, I can't walk there. No. God didn't bless you with a baby so that you'll be able to do your best. Excellence is important. So I will say that it's very important to take up challenges and put in your best. And I think above all, I will say one thing. It's also very, very important to trust in God. When things became so difficult, I would tell myself, no, the Lord will do it for me. And about being positive, I will share a secret here with us. In the height of the contest, you walk, some of us are workaholics. When I'm traveling, I have a little bag, it's filled with papers, memos, work to do on board. But I will tell you, in between those 8 or 10 hours or 15 hours flight, when I was working, when I get tired, I will bring out my paper and I begin to sign. I will say, this is how my signature will look like on the banknote. Wow. I was encouraging myself. I was trusting in God. I said, this is how it will look like. I will sign it. I will sign several. God does not lie. Encourage yourself in the Lord, and He will shock you.
Amen. Thank you very much. That was
awesome.
I hope you are taking notes. After all your applause, please take notes. You might not get to see these people any other time. So this is exclusive access to meet. But we've heard wonderful things from these people, especially Mazi too and the lady. So, Dami.
I do have a question for a woman.
Yes, obviously a woman. You should have a question for her. Yeah, I did. All right.
I do have a question for mommy. And in these climes, or should I say in the past, women have always had, women have grown, or women have developed over time. And we now have more opportunities, to be in positions of power. And what I wanted to ask is, with the discrimination, because I don't think it's totally, eliminated from the workplace. We still have discrimination against women. Some are subtle, some are more overt. But how did you deal with that? Did you experience discrimination? Were you discriminated or passed just because of your gender? And how were you able to surmount that challenge in the workplace?
It's very difficult to say it never occurred. That's the truth. Okay, but generally, the bank where I worked, they were women friendly, They were women friendly, especially our management. They respected women who had things to offer. Number one, if you don't have anything to offer, nobody likes a bad product. So first of all, you must have something to offer. You must be able to make your deliverables. So that is given. I don't think that women should have an entitlement mentality. Okay? You should work for it. You should prove your worth. So I was privileged to be there when we had management that appreciated women who were hardworking, who could bring value addition to the bank. But having said that, I will say something. Anytime you find out that, or you sense a discrimination, don't bother about it. Don't lose your focus. Focus on your focus. You have a goal. When you deliver your goal, all right, they'll go away. What matters are your deliverables. That's the most important thing. So just make sure that you do your best and continue to excel. Yes, I never paid any attention to that because I made sure I didn't want anything to distract me. I didn't, and I always encourage myself. When I achieve what I want, then you have no choice but to acknowledge that I have what it takes to be respected. So I will say that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's switch to this side. Mr. Joshua Gana. 50 billion naira, am I right? Dollars. Investment in sugar factory. If we talk about like maybe top 5 industries or where people want to work here, if we pass the questionnaire, I don't think any young person wants to do that. I'm not saying they are shying away from that, but that means something to employment increase, which Mazi touched on. If there's employment increase, then there will be less of an issue with youth impacting the economy. And particularly based on our theme here, impacting the economy for God. So it is good that man has something to do with his hands so that he won't be engaged in social vices and the likes. And we're being scriptural here too. So I want you to shock some of the youths here with maybe something they don't have an idea about regarding this angle in which you happen to be two-footed in, if I'd say.
Thank you very much. I've been privileged as a young person to travel on agricultural tours by the USTDA to Nebraska and United States and also to China. And on boarding any vehicle, whether a train or a car, I'm moving from point 1 to point 2. The land in between where buildings were occupied with crops. So I began to wonder, why do I travel from point A to B in Nigeria and we're just looking at bush? And by revelation, I got something. The wealth of the city is in the bush. While everyone is going to the city to find work, I'm going to the bush to go and find wealth. And I began in my class when people were writing, what do you want to be in the future? I was in a business class and I wrote, I want to be a farmer. Many of my classmates thought he has lost it. People want to become bankers. People want to become oil and gas people, all sorts of careers. But this graduate is saying he wants to go to villages to till the ground to plant. And I began to imagine, why will God in creation say, Adam, who is created in my likeness, be put in the Garden of Eden, not in a city? He, from day one, said agriculture is wealth. When we want to look at our fathers in faith, Job, Moses, any of them, when they are accounting for wealth, it was animals and farm produce. Nigeria lost it when they left agriculture to oil and gas. Sustainable wealth is in everyday consumption of products. Everyone here is eating and tries to eat 3 times a day. Not everyone will buy fuel in Nigeria today. So I went back, and when it was unattractive to buy a farm, I was one young man that they said, let's encourage this boy and see what he wants to do. To the glory of God, a bank financed it. I took over that company, and I didn't know what to do after that because the financial investment is way my wildest dreams. But I have a God who never fails. And looking up to God, the author and finisher of my faith, I said, Lord, I present Sunchi Company to you. Every unknown helper in Nigeria and abroad be attracted to this company. And a time came, someone walked through the door and said, were interested in the agricultural program of Nigeria and the backward integration policy of the federal government, we would like to acquire the company from you. So from owning it, investment came in, and I have a small fraction. Let those that have deeper pockets take over the problems of my life. And then, to the glory of God today, that bush of 15,000, 16,000 hectares has a sugar mill, a private airstrip, which the President of the Federal Republic landed on to commission that project. And they employed more than 3,500 people. Now, how many governors have employed 3,500 people? One idea with the Lord Jesus can transform. So I give God the glory.
That is absolutely wonderful. Because the word bush, everybody runs away from it. But I mean, we're going to transform our bushes after this, right? Please, just apologies for not letting you know earlier, but you could send your questions after my lovely co-anchor has her last question for the part. So the number to send your question through WhatsApp is 081 5078 3971. I'm a man of grace and mercy, so I'll say it one more time. 081 5078 3971. Please, with your name and location as well. Thank you very much. Dami, over to you.
Thank you very much for that opportunity. Professor Pat Utomi, your resume is quite extensive. And one thing that caught my attention in your resume is teacher. Not just because it resonates with me personally, because I have a mom as a teacher, but also because education is the foundation of everything else. If you want to do something, you need to be educated about it. I think we use the word so much that it has almost lost its meaning, but I don't think so. Does it? So, sir, you have been on boards that have created, educational institutions, primarily, but we find that some of these institutions are quite expensive to gain access to. But then I want to say, based on your experience as a teacher, as an expert in your field, what do you think is the biggest challenge of youths to education? Because I find that sometimes you say these opportunities are, and they advertise these things online, but people are not taking advantage of it. And our keynote speaker said something. He said that the foundation, the education of the people, of the youth is very, very important. But the youth need to find these opportunities. They need to take advantage of them. So how can the youth take advantage of these opportunities that you have helped to create?
Well, thank you so very much. For me, I want the youth to create the opportunities, not someone create for them to take. Because central to the success of every nation are its young people. If you have a large population and you invest appropriately in their education and their health, you will reap a demographic dividend as a society. And I give you a very simple example. When I was leaving the University of Nigeria in 1977, China's output per person was half that of Nigeria. In 1978, a new leader in China called Deng Xiaoping said that China's future depends on people of knowledge, on people of intellect. Even in a speech in December of 1978 to the Chinese Communist Party, Deng said, if there is anything that means anything, it's how much we commit to education and to respect for people who are educated. 30 years later, China's output per person was 30 times that of Nigeria in one generation. And this is what uneducated people can do. Something that is very important about education is that you have to learn to set forth at dawn. Start early. That is the title of Professor Wole Soyinka's autobiography, Set Forth at Dawn. And I can use the privilege of my story as testimony to young people. You know, I replaced one of my professors as advisor to the president of Nigeria at the age of 27. And young people always say, why did he get there at that age and we can't get there? It's a matter of how you prepare yourself. I was very, very privileged very early to learn the power of volunteerism, volunteering to do things. Okay? I was a young 7-year-old in Guzo in today's Zamfara state when John F. Kennedy became president of the United States of America, or while he was president of the United States of America. And it was always about, you know, what Kennedy said. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. It was about sacrificing to help others. So I was in Boy Scout, I was in this. When I got to UNN, just shortly after the Civil War, you know, the university could not afford to have librarians because things were challenged. People were donating books from everywhere to the university. But there was nobody to man department libraries. And my head of department tried to get the students to organize themselves. But you know, we're always very selfish. People were not going to do. So one day I walked up to him and volunteered to run the library. I think more out of shock than anything else, he gave me the key of the library. And having this sense that I was between anybody who needed to use the library, I began to show up at the library as much as was possible. And with nothing else to do, I began to read all the books there. And I ran into a man called Stephen R. Covey very early in my life. Now, most of you who may not know, Stephen Covey wrote a very influential book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And so I learned as young as that to set life goals as an undergraduate. And guess a number of things that I learned going along. One of the things I learned, some universities in America, Yale University is a classic example. On graduation day, they ask, how many of you here have written down your life goals, what you'd like to achieve in life? Most students don't think of such things. So most usually don't. If you do, fewer still write them down. I give a classic example. The graduating class of 1953 at Yale, when they came back in 1973 for a reunion, only 3% wrote down their goals in 1953. By the time they came back in 1973, that 3%, their net worth was more than the 97% put together. It shows you the power of setting goals. I had written a personal mission statement of what I wanted to do with my life as I was leaving school. The story gets even more interesting, but I won't go into that because I didn't want to go to university at all. I wanted to be an airline pilot. So that library saved my life in many ways. And just trying to live the goals that I set. As a youth corper, I attained national prominence. Posted to a news magazine group called the New Breed Group. I went off immediately to graduate school. While I was still in grad school, I was named editor of perhaps the most powerful magazine in this country at the age of 24. At 26, I had 2 master's degrees and a PhD. And at 27, I had replaced my own professor in a presidential advisory position.
So I'll just stop you briefly to ask a question. And my question is, a lot of Nigerian youth, I'm sure I speak for a lot of youth here, think that you need to go abroad to study, to have a reasonable position in, like, should I say, useful participation in government to influence the matters that affect them. Can you help us address that?
I completely disagree. I think that your education is even more relevant when you are educated in this environment. So long as the education is problem solving in its orientation, you are in a better position to solve problems. And I tell you, and this is so important because a lot of young people are dispirited today. But just look at what is going on in this context with all the challenges. If I ask all of you here, which is the biggest financial institution in Nigeria, who will you name? Eh? CBN. Okay.
That really doesn't
Well,
sound
you know, the biggest financial institution in this country, worth more than 2 of the biggest banks put together, was founded by some young people less than 5 years ago. Tech is changing everything. And those tech companies are growing so fast. This year, we're estimating that $4 billion will enter this economy to support those young 20-something-year-olds. And I think I should tell a story that is very important here. When I was in grad school in America, a wonderful man called Jimmy Carter was president. But things were very bad. The US economy was traveling south. The inflation was 29%, unheard of, and all of that. In 1980, he was defeated by President, or who became President Reagan. And Reagan awoke the spirit of America, its entrepreneurial spirit. When I was there in March, towards the end of the academic year, people were working on their CVs and all of that. A couple of years into the Reagan era, when I returned, I'd come back to Nigeria by 82. You returned and the seniors were not working on their CVs. They were working on their business plans. And quite a few of them became billionaires for their 26th birthday. And America was back. And America that Japan was running out of town at the time I was in grad school there was supremo in the world. Every generation turns to its young people when it's in trouble. And this generation can do that for Nigeria. And so I want to challenge you and to know that the kind of education you give yourself is what will power this country to its destiny and its promise.
Thank you very much, Pat. I have a question. From one of the online viewers for Mrs. Priscilla Eleje. His name is JC Ekenediri Chukwujeku. A lot of Chukwus there. So he says, you said that we should focus on our goal and we should not consider challenges, but rather face it positively. So I think to paraphrase his question, he says, how do we face a problem in a sector where it requires, if I'd say, an approach of corruption? I think it's a no-brainer that it's what every youth complains about, that there's no good breathing ground for the youth. So maybe how you did it, but how would you advise a young person to do that? Like, because they'll always be posed with that. What will you do if you were them? Or what would you advise a young person to do?
Thank you very much. I would like to challenge our young people, even us, all of us. But for the young man or woman who asked that question, you know, we all want to see a change. We want to see something positive in our land. But I want to encourage you, let that change begin with you. You know, it's so, I will give you a typical example. I was coming home one day from the airport, and we stopped to buy, there was a fuel shortage, a period. So we stopped to buy fuel on the airport road. The queue wasn't long. But you know, at that queue, the man would not let us go in to buy the fuel if my driver didn't give him some money. And I said, wow, this is not the president. This is a fellow Nigerian making me suffer because suddenly he has an opportunity. And that's the same person who will abuse the man, his boss. So you see, let it start with us. And it is possible that it can start with you. Let them know you for who you are. Are you a Christian? It doesn't matter. They will say, oh, all these Bible people. It doesn't matter. Let them call you the Bible people. But I will encourage you to ask yourself, what would Jesus have me do even in this situation? That should always be our guide. It's helped me anyway, and I believe it will help you. What would Jesus have me do? Thank you.
I want you to pay attention, but this question goes to Joshua Gana. Can I have your attention, sir? Most particularly because you have a degree in theology. So someone asks here, his or her name is Adetoye Temitope, it's unisex, I hope it's a she, from Usasa Diocese. It has become popular today that youth go to churches where prosperity and success is preached and prayed on the jobless people. Now many youth believe that prosperity comes by a man of God's anointing and not hard work. I think this is one of the problems the youth are misinformed with. I think also this may be why criminal means of making wealth is rampant. Everybody wants to make it early. So he's asking, what is the truth behind this prosperity message preached by churches today?
Well, I think in the response to what our father was referring to, creation of wealth, many of the pastors of such churches wanted to gain, because opportunity, the seed of opportunity is problems. So wherever you see problems, face them headlong, and then opportunities come out of them for you to take advantage of. So they saw an opportunity for creating memberization in their churches and talking about the issue that was bothering every young person, dealing with unemployment, hopelessness, that I will graduate, I will face a strike in universities, go through all that to submit my thesis and graduate. And then I cannot make one error. And one or two of their classmates have made it so well, maybe abroad or within the same economy where they are. So they are desperate. But the principles of God for creation of wealth in the Bible can never be taken away. Anything that goes up will come down. Anything that grows up will stay up where it grows to. So to be a fruitful Christian, you must go through the pathway of hard work, working smartly with that. And when we say work smart, it's not for speed, it's to put the right peg in the right hole at the right time. And that's how you become a smart person, not to waste a lot of resources and time that you don't have. So I encourage our youth, every fast way to wealth, if you are a true Christian that believes in Jesus, turn away from it. Anything that makes you to grow, it takes time. It will be sustainable wealth that will take you far in life. The people sitting here are accounting for more jointly here for 200 years of hard work. So for we that are young ones, I'm only 20 years in management, we're looking up to them and we're still patiently running the race. So no one should think that this 20-year race, you will come in one day, one idea, because somebody anointed you in the name of Jesus, that it will now overtake that person. It is not a lie from the pit of hell. Thank you.
I just want to use a quote to end that. The quote is a Swahili proverb. It says, wealth, if you use it, comes to an end. But learning, if you use it, it increases. So I must agree with you. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I have a question for Professor Pat Utomi from Ogam Stinley, Shuku Bueze from the Diocese on the Niger. His question is, you said education is more relevant in an environment, and you have achieved the most relevant level of education at the age of 27. I thank God you're a lecturer. Please, sir, my question is, ASU has been on strike and have destabilized our plans. For example, as a young student who planned to graduate at the age of 22, but unfortunately, ASU strike has delayed me in school. When applying for a job after graduation, some companies will add age limits as conditions. Meanwhile, it was ASU that had delayed me and made me spend unnecessary years in school. Sir, what is currently going on between the federal government and ASU that have made us believe that education in Nigeria is not really helping? And when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. In this case, the student suffers it.
Well, let me tell the students that it's a more complex and more nuanced issue. Okay? I personally think that ASU needs new strategies and tactics. However, there's a problem with paying a university professor 400,000 naira if you want him to teach you properly. Okay? We cannot continue to pretend that we want to educate our children where we make the environment of learning not conducive to learning. The policymakers have been in self-deceit about how to grow education. I wrote something about this more than 20-something years ago, and it's still true till today. Good education does not come cheap. We have to find the way of paying for it. Government cannot be creating a university every week and expect that you will find enough people to teach in them who are paid well enough. Look, there are university professors in the US who earn up to $1 million a year. That may not be the average, but there are university professors. You can check on Google for, a typical business school professor can earn $500,000, but some will earn $1-2 million. When we started the Lagos Business School, as a deliberate policy, we said that we consider what you are paid a percentage of your income. Because as a lecturer, you have a duty to interact with business, to understand business better, so you consult with them. And some LBS faculty make several times from consulting to business than they are paid. But in government, you say it is BP. So the whole understanding of education is upside down. So we need to rethink that. I wrote a piece in one of the papers this weekend, Rethinking Education. So any of you can read it, but it's just an introduction to a bigger conversation on what needs to be done about education. It is the key to progress. We cannot continue this business of graduating people 7-8 years. It doesn't make any sense. It's not all ASU's problem. It's a failure of the policy environment. But I also think ASU needs to change its strategy.
Thank you very, very much. We have come towards the end, but it's not particularly the end because our speakers will have their last words. But before they do, I just want to let them know exactly what they may be saying. They've spoken a lot, and they have like a final charge for all the youth here. But I want to implore each and every one of them because by privilege, I've come to see and meet you and have a handshake with you. But I do want you to make a commitment, if not for me or for my co-host here, for somebody out there who will be looking forward to taking a step up. We know the Anglican Communion has been able to pull strings and bring you here, and we do thank you because we know you have your own personal, formal and informal schedules. So while you give a final charge, I would implore that you make a commitment that would energize the heart of youth here listening to you, that will make someone here happy and be expectant. Like, I know the Mazi came here to speak about something, and I'm looking forward to what he wants to do with the Anglican Communion. I know Professor Pat told me flew all the way here, and there's something he wants to do, and the rest of you. So, each and every one of you, take a go.
Thank you very much. First is that, let me just spend 30 seconds concluding on that speech. That is, what do we do? How can you solve a problem of a nation, of a community, of a group, and you ignore the major resource? Nigerian problem will be resourced by the youth that constitute the larger block of our demography. So it is insanity to ignore the youth population. They have the strength, they have the creativity, the innovation, physical, and whatever it takes to get things done. Why will we ignore them? Okay? We will ensure that they become the primary driver of Nigeria's economy because of total involvement in every asset. Now, let me make my concluding remarks. For me, I'm essentially a businessman, an entrepreneur, business builder. You were just talking. I grew from first level as a farm school sales rep. I became chairman and CEO of a multinational in 15 years. Now, a couple of things worked for me. One is what was being said, the power of vision. Set your vision for your life. It is a major thing that helps you to overcome the difficulties and challenges on your road. There are 5 P's, I call them. The first is purpose. The second is plan. The third is perspiration. The fourth is passion. And the fifth is providence. The moment you drive you around about purpose or vision, and you have a plan, you perspire, you are passionate, and you trust God, as my sister said, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. That's how I became a CEO in 15 years. And many things in my life, including my present desire to become the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2023, is driven by vision. And with vision, you can accomplish so much. Thank you.
So, what will you do for the youth, and then your final charge to each and every one of them?
Well, I would say to all the young people here, don't ever believe that there's something that you cannot achieve, especially with God on your side and with you doing your what? Your bit. Doing your bit is very important. When in your marketplace, please go with integrity and make sure that you are trusted. In that marketplace, have the right attitude. Don't become the Alpha and the Omega. Look down on people. Okay, become a dignity violator. No. Our God is the only Alpha and Omega, and we know that He respected people's dignity. We saw what He did to the woman who was accused of adultery. Okay, so have the right attitude. Be very, very positive. Don't be afraid to fail. And you know what I learned? Always laugh. Make sure you learn to have a good laugh, especially when you are facing a failure or a challenge. It's very, very important. Try to laugh. Have a good emotional stability. I know it's difficult during these times, but yes, we have a setup coming up soon called Talking Solutions. You can come there and people can, you can talk. They can counsel you. Don't be afraid to share your burden, because many of you are burdened. Many of us are burdened. It's very important that you don't carry that heavy load. There are people there who can actually help you. We are open to assist. We are open to mentor, and it would be nice to be able to assist you in that area. God bless you.
Thank you very much. You just heard that she said.
This is free or paid for.
She said she will be willing to assist, so I'm sure the Anglican Communion will provide a channel for that.
Okay,
and please, it's free.
Is it free or paid for?
Is it free or paid? You're asking.
Both.
Okay.
So it's free and paid. And remember, Prof. Utomi said if you want quality, you have to pay for it. So the free one might be lesser. All right. Yeah. So, Joshua, your final words, sir.
Well, I'm still amongst the young people's echelon, so we're learning together. Why our Joshua generation is to learn all these things. So I counsel every young person, you are here to sit down, learn from every seasoned person that has been invited here. Going around to eat is not your concern. Pursue the knowledge that is being impacted at Joshua's generation. The idea behind this is that the secrets that have helped our parents here to get to where they are, even in Nigeria, we can go further if we listen to them.
Correct.
So please, rather than going around and snapping pictures, study to show yourself approved. A workman rightly dividing the word of truth. God bless you all.
Very much. And finally, from Professor Pat Utomi, your investment in the youth and your final charge.
Well, I want to say that it's a great thrill to be amongst some of our country's finest young people here this evening. I have a mantra, and I say always, if you can dream it, you can make it happen. If you can dream it, you can make it happen. And I want you all to dream dreams. Because if you truly dream dreams, then you can get motivated to make what seems impossible possible. Most of the routine things that you take for granted today were once considered impossible until one person did what needed to be done. Today we all take it for granted. The other point I think that is important to make is who you were created to be, a person of purpose. I have always told young people that we should be Genesis 2:15 Christians. You were not just given dominion over the earth for the fun of it. God intended for you to be a co-creator with Him, moving creation towards His perfection. So you are natural entrepreneurs. So take advantage of that fantastic brain you have and collaborate with God to move creation forward. That is what I think you should never forget. Another thing, you know, I'm sure most of you read Harry Potter. I had a Harry Potter series. J.K. Rowling, one of the most important things she's ever said is that we are the choices we make. Where you end up is a function of the choices you make. You make wrong choices today, tomorrow will be unhappy. You make the right choices today, you will celebrate the latter years. And I think it's also important to think positive. Norman Vincent Peale became very famous from the power of positive thinking. We talked about pastors and prosperity preaching. I don't believe in the kalu view of faith. You put in this, you get that. However, they have played a very powerful role. They have enabled people focus on the positive, and that has driven many of them to accomplish much more than they could have accomplished. So that is a useful thing to think about. But finally, and very importantly, you must think ethically. You must think of the dignity of the human person and treat everybody with an understanding that they carry in them the image and likeness of God. If you treat people well, if you are ethical and you have the work ethic, no force in this world can stop you. So go out there, change this country, and build a great new Nigeria, and sing my song, Nigeria will rise up again. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, our panelists. Thank you, Mazi. Thank you, our mommy, Mrs. Priscilla Eleje. Thank you, our brother Joshua Gana. Thank you, Professor Utomi. Thank you all for being. Thank you very much for educating us and teaching us, letting us into your wealth of experience, even in this very short time. Our youths, we've heard from our panelists, the choice is yours. You need to make a choice how you want to be a person of impact. As our topic illustrates, the world is waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. It is possible for you to be a person of integrity in the workplace. Wherever you find yourself, it is possible. At least, if there's no other way for you to know, our panelists here show and illustrate that it is possible for you to be a person of integrity. It's possible for you to be different. If everybody is going in a certain direction, you don't have to follow them, because there's only so much that you can do in the midst of a crowd. God has created each and every one of us here for a purpose. And that purpose will only be fulfilled if we trust God, rely on the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Do your work diligently. Don't look down on the opportunities that you find available to you. Do it with diligence. You don't know where you will find yourself. Our mommy said she did not know where she was going to end up when she got into banking. But look at it. Look at our mommy today. So this should be a motivation for you. Thank you so much for being a very active part of this panel discussion. God bless you.
Yeah, one more thing. We would like, because we know we are in the presence of the primate himself, we would like that there will be a follow-up program as towards this, because we know youths will not have access to people like this and even people of their stature too. So for the sake of a lot of the questions that were asked that couldn't be answered, a lot of youths are asking for action steps and guidelines and the rest. So we hope that the Anglican Church will provide platforms for these in different dioceses across the states in Nigeria, so that indeed there will be a response from people like these who have actually gone through all of these things they've said, and see youths also climb this ladder. So we thank you all very much for your patience and with all the insights.
Thank you so much, please. Thank you. We're grateful.
Thank you so much. Have a good night and God bless.